Hi everyone, it's Louis here from the arbacademy.com. Thinking about purchasing the BetBurger arbitrage betting software, wondering whether it's worth the €100 per month? Well, today I'll be reviewing the BetBurger arbitrage betting software in detail, give you the definitive answer on whether it's the best arbitrage betting software available on the market. Also, everything I'll be talking about today will be linked in the video description below, so please feel free to check that out at any time. Before we dig into the BetBurger software, I'll just briefly cover what the purpose of arbitrage betting software is for those that are new to arbitrage betting. Arbitrage betting involves betting on all possible outcomes of a match at very specific odds and stakes to ensure that we profit regardless of the outcome. The thing is, these arbitrage bets are not all that common. You can spend all day searching for arbitrage bets and only find a handful. That's where arbitrage software like BetBurger comes in. Essentially, arbitrage betting software, also known as surebet software, scans the odds for tens, if not hundreds of bookmakers over many sports, tournaments and matches. When it finds a potential arbitrage bet, it calculates the profit margin and then alerts you. You simply confirm the stake with each of the bookmakers and then place your bets. The more bets you place, the more you'll profit. Surebet software essentially allows you to spend less time on the boring part, which is searching for arbs, and more time on the profitable part, which is actually placing your bets. Well, here are my main pros and cons of BetBurger relative to the other software that's out there. Main pros are, firstly, it has access to 82 different bookmakers and many more clones of these bookmakers. This is great. Secondly, it has access to 34 sports, which is massive. This is really good. The BetBurger software has many arbs on offer at any point in time, and this is largely due to the high number of bookmakers and sports that it covers. It also includes arbitrage middles for free. And finally, there is the Arb Helper Chrome extension, which is a Google Chrome extension that BetBurger have developed that allows you to navigate directly to the bookmaker websites in Google Chrome without the bookmakers realizing that you are navigating from BetBurger. And this is an excellent way to disguise your arbitrage betting activity. In terms of the cons, well, it's pretty expensive. It costs €100 per month, and this is towards the upper end of what arbitrage betting software can cost you. So it's definitely a pricey option. The user interface is not fantastic. I find it's quite crowded and it can be a little bit difficult to see what's going on, especially if you're new to the software. You do get used to it after some time, but there are definitely some improvements that the BetBurger team could make, I think. The bookmaker odds for particular matches are not displayed particularly clearly, in my opinion, and I'll get to that in a minute when we have a direct look at the software. Live arbs offer you greater profits but come with greater risks, so I don't recommend them for beginners anyway. But if you are interested in including live arbs as part of the BetBurger software, you'll have to shell out an additional €140 per month on top of the €100 per month you're already spending. So now that we've seen the major pros and cons, let's take a direct look at the software. Unlike some other arbitrage betting software like Rebel Betting, BetBurger operates entirely in your browser, so you can simply navigate to the BetBurger website and access all your arbs immediately. Opening up the BetBurger software for the first time, you are greeted with an interface that looks a little bit like this. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you're not familiar with the BetBurger software, or especially if it's your first time to try out any arbitrage betting software. But the main things to be aware, this is the Arb feed panel, and this is displaying all the possible arbs that are available to you at the moment. And here you can change how many you're displaying on a single page. So as you can see, there's plenty of arbs here at the moment. If you look at an individual arb, for example, if we look at this one here, you're given basically the profit margin here at the top left, and that's an indication of based on if you were to stake a certain amount on this match, what percentage gain would you get? So if we staked $100 on this match, we would expect to get about $1 back in return, 98 cents. It also shows you the sport type here, which is rugby, and you can see the two relevant bookmakers are BetCity and Sky Bet. You can see the start time of the match, which is good to know, as you don't want to be betting on matches that are too far ahead, as that's no good. You'll be tying up too much of your capital and not being able to use it on multiple bets in that time. We can also see the team here, so you've got the Cronulla Sharks versus the West Tigers. See, that's the same for Sky Bet here, and you can see it's Australian Rugby League is the tournament or league that we're looking at here. Over here, you can see the betting market. So it's an Asian handicap market of negative 4.5 for one side and positive 4.5 for the other. And then you can see the odds that each of these bookmakers are offering. can see the age of the Arb, so it's been around for 12 hours. And there's an option here to hide or delete this Arb from your feed if you're not interested in it. If we then go and actually click on that Arb, you can see that some more detail is provided over here in the right-hand side, and this is kind of like the Arb details panel. And in this here, we can see all the different possible bookmaker combinations that could result in an arbitrage bet, sorted by profit margin by default. So it's displayed here at the top, the original one we saw, over here, in the Arb feed, as this is the highest profit margin Arb available for this match on BetBurger. And then we're given the same details here. But you can also see that it would be possible to have another much less profitable bet, arbitrage bet here between BetCity and Winline Bet on the same match, but for a slightly different betting market. Asian handicap as well, but for a slightly different line rather. This section here is that you can essentially see what your options are. If one of your bets was rejected, for example, do you have any fallback options? Could you place a bet with a similar bookmaker and still have a positive arbitrage bet there? Could you still make a profit there? If you can see that there's not many fallback options, then that's a pretty reliable indicator that it's a bit of a dangerous Arb to go for, because it's reasonably likely that one of your bets could be rejected, or that the odds might change before you get around to actually making the bet. Let's see if we can find another example here that has some more options in terms of backup bets. All right, so here's one here that I've found, a soccer Arb here, and you can see that this is looking at this is a total score market for a particular soccer match, and then you can see that in this example here, if you weren't able to place a bet with Wplay for this particular betting market, then you could actually go and place the same bet with BetOrder here. They've got the exact same odds and the exact same market as Wplay have, so that is a pretty reliable indicator that if you can't get your bet on there, you still have a backup option. It's a pretty safe Arb, which is good to see. And that lets you know that you should be placing your first bet with this second bookmaker here, because this second bookmaker has fewer backup options than Wplay. So you really want to place with them first. If your bet's rejected, then I just let the whole Arb go. But if it's accepted, then you're all good, and then you can start placing your bets with this other bookmaker. If that fails, it's all good because you've got a backup option here. And you can even see that there's another backup option further down here that's actually got the exact same odds as well. So yeah, that's a really strong indicator that you want to be placing your first bet with this bookmaker before moving to the other ones. One thing I don't like about the BetBurger interface here, the way they lay out the bookmaker odds, is that they kind of are mixing different Arbs together here. They kind of group the entire match in this whole section here. So when you're trying to do what we just discussed before and figure out which order you should place your bets in and what your backup options are, you can easily get confused by different betting markets here for the same match. So here you can see it's also a total score market, a total score Arb they found down here, but it's actually for a different line. Here's for 1.5 and this one here is for 0.5. So you might get confused and think, oh yeah, I've got a backup option here, it's all good. But actually it's for an entirely different betting market, or rather for a different line, I should say. I wish they would separate these out and perhaps have a different way of displaying these odds so it's a bit less confusing. But you get used to it pretty quick. So what are some of the main features that BetBurger has here? Well, one thing I do quite like is their integrated betting calculator. So if we go back to our original Arb here, wait for that to load, and then so we're looking at this here, this Asian handicap betting market in an Arb between BetCity and Skybet. So you can see now that we've got this selected here, it automatically autofills these odds up into the integrated betting calculator above, and you can see them. These are here, which is great. And you can see that the arbitrage betting calculator has already calculated the relevant stakes based on a total stake across all bets of $100. So it's recommending that we bet $43.90 with BetCity and $56.10 with Skybet. And then if you were to take this course of action, you would see a profit of 97 cents if this outcome was to occur, and 98 cents if the other outcome has occurred, if the other outcome was to occur. So it's distributed the profits evenly between these two arbs, so that no matter what happens, you're guaranteed to get at least 97 cents of profit. If, for example, you thought one of these bets had a lot more value than the other one, if one of these bets was with a sharp bookmaker and the other one was with a soft bookmaker, you might want to distribute your profits to one, or bias your stakes to ensure that you're maximising profit on one particular outcome. And we can do that quite well with the BetBurger calculator by simply ticking and unticking these checkboxes. So if I untick this one here, you can see that the potential profit that we could get from this first option has increased to $2.21 from 98 cents. So that we're expecting a lot higher profit if the Bet City leg was to come off. But now we're just basically breaking even on that second leg there with Sky Bet. It's basically, it's just a break even. We're not going to make any money if that happens. So most of the time I recommend you leave both of these checked to split the profits evenly to guarantee yourself some profit. But if you feel that one option's got a lot more value than the other, feel free to play around with that. Another great thing about the BetBurger betting calculator is that it supports multiple currencies. If you have many different bookmaker accounts that might be funded in multiple currencies, you can still place bets between them by using the BetBurger betting calculator exchange rates here. So, for example, if one was funded in US dollars and then the other one was funded in euros, you can adjust that there, and you can select that option. It automatically will adjust your stake accordingly. Even it supports about 30 different currencies in here, including Bitcoin and a whole bunch of other currencies. So you can see they've changed that to pounds, and it's automatically reduced how much I should bet there in accordance. And you can change your total stake here if you wanted that to be $200 US instead. You can simply type that in, and it will automatically recalculate those stakes, individual stakes for you, which is fantastic. Another great feature of the BetBurger software is just the sheer number of arbs that it can find. Covering 82 bookmakers and 34 sports means that it has a huge database to draw from when it's finding arbs, which is fantastic. As you can see here, there's just a whole ton of arbs. It's got hundreds of arbs on offer here. It's got a whole ton of arbs available, and you're really highly unlikely to run out of arbs, even if you have quite restrictive filters and are only looking for very specific sports and bookmakers. I think you'll still find that BetBurger produces a whole ton of arbs. So that's a really positive thing about the software. BetBurger also displays arbitrage middles as part of their software for no additional cost. And you can sort by middles by going over here to this sorted by drop-down menu and clicking on middles. And then you can see here it's got 2 middles available at the moment based on my filters. It does also support negative middles if you adjust your filters to show negative arbs. If you access the filters over here, you can filter your arb feed to show only the arbs that you're interested in. And you can do that by looking at the arbs profit margin, and you can change that so only show arbs within a certain range of profit margins if you're interested. You can filter arbs by how old they are, if you're interested in really new arbs or older arbs, by the odds that the bookmakers are offering, and by how many legs there are to that particular arb. You might want to untick 3 legs if you're just interested in simple arbs. For example, those that just have 2 outcomes and only require 2 bets. It's a little bit less complicated. You can also choose what bookmakers you want to include, and just tick the ones that you have accounts with. You can also set a bookmaker as required rather than just enabled, and that basically means that the bookmaker, you're only going to show arbs that have this bookmaker as a possible combination. And this is useful if you have a lot of cash building up with a particular bookmaker, if you're on like a bit of had a run of wins there, or if you're trying to roll over a certain bonus bet to meet some requirements to be able to withdraw it. It's also useful to then tick the required bookmaker on that particular bookmaker. And you can do a similar thing with sports as well, and choose which sports you want to include. I recommend that you just stick with the sports that you understand the rules of to begin with, and don't try to do arbs on anything particularly complicated where you don't understand what the rules might be, and you don't understand what the different rules that the bookmakers might adopt, because that can leave you open to potential losses if you're not careful. So just stick with some simple sports to begin with. Another nice feature of BetBurger is their Arb Helper Chrome extension. This is an extension for Google Chrome that BetBurger has developed, and it allows you to navigate directly from the BetBurger software to the bookmaker websites. It'll take you straight to the bookmaker website, directly to the correct match at the correct time, and with your stake from their integrated betting calculator already inserted on the bookmaker website. And the great thing about this extension is that it doesn't reveal to the bookmaker that you came from the BetBurger software, which is really important. If the bookmaker can see that you're coming from the BetBurger software, they know that you're doing arbitrage betting, and they're going to be quick to limit your account or to close it down entirely. So the Arb Helper extension is really good at disguising your arbitrage activity from the bookmakers, which helps prolong your arbitrage betting career. Now we come to the most important part, which is the pricing. So BetBurger is a fairly expensive arbitrage betting software. It costs €100 per month, and that doesn't include any live arbs whatsoever. As we mentioned before, that's just pre-match arbs only. If you want to include live arbs, in addition to pre-match, that's going to cost you €240 per month, an additional €140 to what you're already paying. So I recommend that you stick with just the pre-match arbing, especially to begin with, at €100 per month. To put that in perspective, if you're placing arbitrage bets with a typical total stake of about €200 each time, and you're getting a, say, 2% profit margin on each one, you can expect to earn €4 per arb. So you'll need to be placing at least 25 arbs per month just to break even on the subscription fee. Anything beyond that will be totally profit for you. You do have to place probably at least 25 arbitrage bets before you start seeing any profit each month. Considering this, I think BetBurger is most suited to people that are serious about arbitrage betting. If you're planning on placing many arbitrage bets each month with a variety of bookmakers on many different sports, BetBurger will be really good for you. I really recommend it in that situation. If you're interested in betting on arbitrage middles, funding bookmaker accounts with multiple currencies, BetBurger is also ideal for you. You can also freeze your account and subscription for between 7 to 28 days at any time with BetBurger, which can save you a bit of money if you will not be able to place any arbitrage bets for some time, if you're going on a holiday or vacation. If, however, you are a more casual Arber and you're just interested in placing a few bets every now and then to make a bit of money on the side, you might find it difficult to get much of a profit if you're already paying €100 per month just for the software. So a more budget-friendly arbitrage betting software, such as BetSlayer or something similar to that, might be more suitable for you. The trade-off will be that there's not so many arbs available, and you don't get any middles, you don't get any features like multiple currency support, but the monthly fee is much lower. So you're kind of saving a lot of money there, so it might be worth it for you when you consider all that. So if you are a casual Arber, I do recommend that you have a look at my BetSlayer review, and I'll put a link to that in the video description. Ultimately, it comes down to you and how much time and money you're willing to invest in arbitrage betting. If you're really serious about arbitrage betting and you're committed to it, BetBurger will be an excellent software choice for you, and I really recommend it. But I understand that some people don't have the money to really spend €100 per month on arbitrage betting software, or they don't have the time. They've only got perhaps a couple of hours spare a week just to place a few arbitrage bets here and there. In that case, yeah, I think that BetBurger is probably not the best option for you, and that you should look at some more budget-friendly options. And I've got a list of them on my website, and they'll be in the description below, so please check them out. If you're still on the fence and not sure whether you should go with BetBurger or not, I recommend that you give them a go with a free trial. I'll have a link in the video description for how to access that free trial. It's a bit limited. You can't get all the arbs you would get with the full version of the software, but it's a good way to get a feel for whether you're going to like the software, whether you're going to like the layout and the interface, and whether the features are worth it for you or not. So you've got nothing to lose by giving it a go. So why not have a free trial and then make your mind up from there. Finally, I hope you've enjoyed my BetBurger review. If it has helped you at all, I would be really, really grateful if you could like my video or subscribe to my channel. I'll be reviewing more arbitrage betting software on here and releasing a lot of other videos with useful information about arbitrage betting, some tips and tricks, and just general advice as well. If you have any questions about BetBurger or anything else related to sports arbitrage betting, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And last but not least, if you're interested in some arbitrage betting training, please check out the 100% free video course I've got available on my website. There's a link in the video description below. Check that out. It's totally free. and it'll give you all the information you need to get started with arbitrage betting. I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching. All the best and good luck.